Absolutely, absolutely. And a reminder, this was also big for Dignitas. First game win of Split 3 so far. They were 0-2-0-2, so now they're getting a little momentum themselves here. Let's see if they can continue that going. But to that point where Keine was able to just crush Darkwings in that 1v1. I'm going to call it how I saw it there. It was, holding the line, and then once we got to the side lane, he was doing so much more. Even if it wasn't matchup against Malzahar, he was just getting more done, whether it was solo killing, Castle, or just, taking multiple turrets. And there was a little smack talk during the banner ceremony last weekend where it was Tomo saying, yeah, my mid laner's going to gap your mid laner. Like, it's going to come down to that. Hey, maybe Katie's actually back in that right now.
Well, in game 1, though, Darkwings also did quite well in Jinx. He got a lot more done there. So we have to see what is going to happen here in game number 3. It is Castle taking away Photon's kind of classic Gwen. He's going to be first picking that on blue side. Obviously, a lot of the standard answers are up and available. People love things like Jax into it. That is quite common. You do have a lot of different directions you can go, though. Trundle really has risen a ton in priority. And Trundle Ambessa as the combo. So it's not hard CC for the ultimate coming out of Ambessa, but you can still throw the pillar, and then they're kind of stuck on this slow where they're kind of walking beside the pillar. It makes it very easy to actually line up that public execution. So that is still a pretty nice combo, and is going to deny some of the possible jungle pairings that you might want to go towards. If you're saying, okay, we have Gwen, well, I said Sejuani Gwen and things like that. If you want to go melee with one of those tank junglers, that kind of discourages that. But Taliyah is up and available, though the most common pairings for Taliyah are not, right? Because Pantheon is permabanned, Vi and Xin have both been played. Those are ones that you really do standard kind of look towards. You generally want some sort of CC, some sort of knockup, some sort of something.
J4 maybe kind of comes up.
You can do J4, you can do things like Viego, it's not the best. You could also do some of the tank junglers, like you could go Skarner or Sejuani or whatever if you want. But Jarvan definitely does fit if you just want that AD jungler who's going to bring some CC, some explosive engage, and that's the option they're looking for.
And when I think about eXyu, he typically will lean more towards those bruiser, kind of more carry junglers. He likes playing those ones a lot, gives him more agency in the game. So no big surprise seeing that locked in there. But I want to go back to the Ambessa for Photon. He's playing the reverse of the matchup he had versus Thanatos, where he was on the Gwen into the Ambessa. Now he gets to show what he can do on the melee AD champion. Ahri locked in for Keine as the answer into the Taliyah.
So Ahri is going to be locked in again. Not hard CC from the Trundle, but you still can kind of set up with the pillar. It does help you with those skill shots quite a lot. And both teams just targeting the bot lane here, since the picks have been mirrored. It's all topside picks, unless we're getting really wacky with flexes. But we are expecting it to be all
Trundle support.
Picks.
Remember those days?
Yeah, it was really popular for a while. Emax Trundle, and some people were even doing with like Font of Life. You do like Moonstone and Ardent Sensor and like all these weird things.
I actually
interactions there where it counted as heal and proctor support.
Yeah, I actually played it with Raz in a solo queue game, or not solo queue, the Flex game a couple weeks ago.
How'd that go for you?
I inted really bad. So
as good as your Hecarim support, or worse?
Worse than, no, better than Hecarim support. Don't do Hecarim support. I was cooking. I thought there was something there. There wasn't. I'm big enough to admit that.
Shocked. Everyone around you was shocked.
Hey,
when you proposed the Hecarim support, people were really bought in for sure.
They thought for a moment. Yeah, I was just not able to follow through. The machinations of my mind scare even myself sometimes here. But next round of ban phase, we have the Rakan and the Sivir taken off the table on Dignitas' side. Meanwhile, it's the Ezreal banned out. So both these teams also agree that the top half of the map has been picked and not the bottom half.
So Braum is going to be that final ban. Still lots of standard engaged champs are up and available. Nautilus, Rell, Leona. Those are the ones that I'm kind of thinking of. You can obviously go Enchanter answers as well, if that's what you want to look towards. But it does feel like the most standard, the most common that we're going to be looking for are those. And especially for the side of Dignitas, I do think they need some sort of hard engage. But it is going to be Lucian. So you could do Lucian Nami as your final picks. That does leave them with like basically no hard engage whatsoever. You can still kind of just like throw down the pillar and try to get chunks. You can go about it that way.
Yeah, they
obviously
tools,
can
but
pair the Lucian with like, just standard hard engage, but you pretty much never see that. It's basically only ever, I mean, Braum has become the most meta, but Braum is banned. And then you generally see, Nami most common, and then sometimes you see Melio. But it's pretty rare to see pairings with Lucian outside of that.
But the Melio is the one that I was actually thinking here. Yes, Nami, the way I hear players talk about it is like, oh, Nami gives you more options to be aggressive in lane because you can land bubbles over the minions and like look for picks and stuff. But Melio is that counter-engaged champion. You have the kick to knock back the Rell, to knock back the J4. So maybe they're going for more of a kite back on the bot side if they go for that angle.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely look for that angle if you want. I mean, Trundle can be used both ways. You can pillar someone out, but you can also just try to kite back and pillar out the back line, right? So especially if you're going to play against something like Jinx, it's like they go all in, and you just throw the pillar in front of the Jinx, and everyone kites back, and Jinx has to try to like walk slowly past this big slow on the pillar. And where is Azael going to go? You know, is he going to be cooking, or is it going to be one of those standard picks? I mean, yeah, you can go Bard and try to run around the map and make plays.
There it is.
And that is the answer. But this is definitely very uncommon to see Lucian in pro without one of those kind of 3 champions that I have mentioned. So really curious to see how Tomo is going to be able to perform. And just in general, it's very low on hard engage. Like, you can start fights off with the Bard ult, so you can just try to throw the Bard ult on Rahel's head, and then everyone stacks in on top of him and try to follow up like that. Like, that could be your answer. But I'm definitely a little bit concerned about, you know, how effective Tomo is going to be later on.
And I'm wondering your opinion on the scaling options for Dig as well, because when I think about Ahri, I'm thinking more of kind of this early mid-game utility, you know, mid laner that can find picks with the charms position in fights. Lucian without the melee or the Nami, I'm thinking is a less scaling option. Like, when I look at that composition, I immediately think they probably want to play aggressive and win that early game.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, Lucian is just hard to play. I mean, I think Lucian can scale well and do a ton of DPS. It's just super hard to play, and you have to put yourself in a position where you are really easy to engage on.
Yeah.
And there are those powerful tools on the other side. I mean, the way I look at Dignitas' comp is it's like you basically have to one-shot Jinx later on, or you're just going to lose, right? Like, that's pretty much point blank what it's going to come down to is, you know, if DSG gets to a later stage of the game and it's pretty even, if Rahel isn't dying right at the start of the fight, I think you just will always lose. But it's going to be very difficult to do that through potential counter engage from the Rell, through the unraveled earth that you're trying to go through Taliyah. Jarvan can just like ult whatever, the front line, just to slow things down. You're having to fight through Castle, who's going to be there with the Shroud. So it's like, there's a lot of difficulties, I think, for this comp. I mean, I don't think that there's like no scaling, you know, not that they're just like completely outscaled, but I don't know. Just in general, I feel like what Dignitas has drafted does not match up well at all with what DSG has.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to find the way to solve that puzzle and get themselves across that finish line. DSG, meanwhile, I think a lot of it can also come down to the top side. Castle was counter-picked by Photon, so if Photon can get a lead, maybe that's a way for Dignitas to get in here, because Ambessa, if you do get rolling, can actually do a lot of damage in that side lane. So I think that's something that Castle needs to be aware of as well, because this was a top lane matchup we were excited about coming in. Like, these are two guys that, despite the positionings of the teams currently in the standings, both have had exceptional performances in the past.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Castle as like, oh, he's super elo health, you know, he's in this difficult situation. I think with Rahel joining, that's less true. Yep. I feel like, you know, they have, at least their side lanes have been looking a little bit better this split to me. So that is something that is kind of working for them. But we'll see how he does against Photon in this matchup. Gwen, to me, is like just much easier to get success with in the team fights in the later game because really for the Ambessa, it's so much about hitting your ulti to actually get in on the back line. And if that gets blocked by a front liner, or if they flash it, or if they dash it, or you just miss it, well, it's really tough to actually get in there and get a lot done.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of like hard CC to set that up. It's just more slows and like targeted CC, like, you know, skill shots and stuff. Whereas Gwen, you just kind of run into the ult, you pop the immune, you start throwing the ulti down, like you can kind of just get value almost always. It's a lot easier, I think. Especially
you're spreading that damage out across multiple members with the needlework as the Gwen, so I do like that for Castle. When it comes time to group up, and in the solo 1v1 right now, Photon's actually pushed off the wave. Castle's able to control this currently.
Yeah, I mean, Gwen does a really good job of getting the push, because you just stack the passive. If you're going snip, snip, then you can not only hit your enemy, but also the minions at the same time, which really allows you to kind of get that push. And it's very difficult to actually walk up as Photon when he has 4 stacks there, right? So it's like, you walk up for a wave, and you pretty much have to use your W shield as Ambessa to tank that to get CS. That's kind of the frustration of playing against a Gwen who has push, is that he just sits here on the 4 passive charges, and if you walk up to CS and you don't have a shield or something like that, you just take so much damage for free. So you basically have to accept that he is going to get the push. And on the other side of the map, you can see Tomo already chunked fairly low. Isles had to use his heal that was traded for Huhi, but Tomo still is down to about half HP.
So it's looking like, I mean, even mid lane here, Keine chunked out more than Darkwings. All 3 lanes currently going well for DSG.
Tomo also already used his potion. So, you know, Jinx is higher HP and still has the potion available. So definitely a bit worried about how things could look here for Tomo.
So as much misses from Darkwings as Keine walks up, gets the wave to push in, lands the charm and the Orb of Deception. So now Darkwings actually out of mana, low on health, will need to go for a reset.
spotted by that ward, so good ward by Dignitas is going to be able to keep themselves safe. As eXyu, I think, was seeing, is there a look here? But realized he was spotted. They do back off immediately, so he just goes right back towards the clear. So it is 6 clear into Scuttle, and pretty much people always just hit the vision plant. Sometimes they don't, and then they base. Pretty standard stuff.
Oh, eXyu did it. There we go.
Yeah, that's I would say like the most standard. But sometimes players are like, I won't reveal myself, but I feel like everyone kind of knows where you are. So I feel like in most cases it's fine to just hit that vision plant and see if you can catch a ward.
You would have seen the one in the tri-brush up there if Sheiden had hit it, but so far it doesn't look like anybody else is going to be around top side, so that brush, or that ward rather, will most likely just expire before Sheiden ever looks up there again. As he's back on the bot side, the junglers went their full clears, back onto the Rift. No early detours, despite some of the low health bars, specifically the top side. Happy the observers are highlighting it because Photon and Castle are both quite low right now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit spicy, but Photon was able to push in that wave, and I think both of them are probably going to just take a recall here at that point. You can see Lucian is heading up towards top, but he was spotted. So DSG have the opportunity to choose what they want to do here with this potential lane swap. Tomo going up towards top. It's still going to be Castle just insta-TPing up towards there. So he knew that Tomo was heading there. They had that Raptor ward, and we'll see what he can get done here in this 1v1, because for now, the Bard is still roaming around the map, and they just spotted the Bard on vision. So Castle knows he at least has a little bit of alone time, so doesn't have to be too scared until Bard shows up.
I don't know about you, I feel robbed. I was excited for Photon versus Castle. What have we gotten 3 games in a row? Lane swaps.
We're
swapping them out away from each other.
League of Legends, man. They, they went with the kind of like really punishing approach, but then they pulled back on the changes. And so now it's like, they have to 2v2, they have to 1v1, but if you really want to lane swap, you literally have to do it for 3 waves, and then you can swap. So that's kind of the reality of pro play. Is teams will opt out of what they consider to be a bad matchup, or if they feel they can punish their opposing top laner or whatever more in the 2v1, then they're always going to go for it. So. It's just a lot less common to get the standard lane matchup these days, which results in a lot of these kind of slower starts where you do just have both teams swapping and just kind of trading objectives and farm.
I'm just going to say they were dead even in CS when they backed. That was like a fighting game where they both went at each other, perfect parried, perfect dodge, reset, like, okay, round 2. Never mind, we're going to swap around and now not do that. But I think Photon in the extended play does get a full wave shoved in. Castle goes for the reset. So yes, DSG gets the dragon. That's kind of the trade here because they sent Rahel up to help with that dragon take. But currently Photon does have a slight lead over Castle in just the CS department.
Yep, is up 10 CS. You can see the gold isn't that different, but Castle, he's going to be down a bit of experience, now hitting level 6, so both of them quite even over on that other side. And it is just continuing forward here, very, very close. A couple hundred gold separating the 2 teams, but not really a big deal. And I feel like DSG going to be very happy with the pace of the game because they are playing with this Jinx, because they are playing with, I think, the stronger scaling comp and also the compositional advantage could make it pretty difficult.
Yeah. Right now, it's back to the normal lane assignments, though, because Rahel and Tomo seeing each other on the top half of the map currently. And anytime we have Taliyah after level 6, you can always look to go in. Castle, meanwhile, looking to go into the 1v1. Dodges the public execution. Needleworks are all stacking up and landing. Conqueror all the way stacked. Photon's got to back away.
Yeah, really nice sidestep there by Castle. Allows him to get a pretty good trade with his ulti there. Isles now moving in towards mid, but again is going to be spotted. Wanted this Bard to be able to be active on the map. Photon.
Repudiation misses, so no slow on the Castle. And yeah, all things considered, it's still a pretty equal game. Nothing's really happened anywhere on the map except for that one dragon taken here. Grubs coming in 30 seconds. Maybe that's where action could come next. But it's up to the teams to decide if they want to contest each other. Just a reminder here that DSG, a win puts them in 5th seed. That means they get to select their opponent going into next week in the elimination phase. Whereas a Dignitas win, it's actually Lion that take 5th seed. So Lion, if you're a Lion fan or a Lion player, you're definitely cheering on Dig right now. Oh, right now in the mid lane, though, looks like eXyu is getting caught out there, trying to get back to Rahel, but first, blood to Sheiden. eXyu just out of position. Yeah,
eXyu out of the river there by himself, gets caught by Sheiden and Keine and knocked down, loses the flash and the ult to still die is brutal. It's one of these situations where sometimes you just have to cut the losses, accept the death, and keep those playmaking tools, because now you can't even challenge anything even when you respawn, right? Like, you just lost all of your playmaking tools.
And now that means no jungle contest either, so Sheiden is able to go for these grubs. Actually backing off right now because Rahel's there, and the rest of Dignitas were not ready. Meanwhile, topside, Isle has to take the portal over the wall. And DSG push Sheiden off of the grubs. eXyu's back on the rift. It's only one taken by Dignitas' jungler.
Yeah, are going to be able to grab that, but they also got the ulti off of Huhi now. So we can watch this one more time.
Yeah.
He knew he was there. I don't really understand what he was going for. I mean, you're never going to solo out the Ahri. Maybe he thought he could go in and like force ult and make the Ahri run away. Because he obviously didn't have eyes on the Trundle. But just kind of blind EQ'd in on the Ahri.
I mean, with Jinx ult, maybe the call is like, okay, with the Mega Red Death Rocket will be the damage difference, but I don't think it was. Like, it wasn't close there.
No. I think at best, you know, the best case scenario, and this is kind of what I'm assuming he's thinking, is that you EQ in, you chunk out the Ahri gets scared and just ults away.
Sure.
Right? And you're like, hey, I got
Cool.
your ult
no
for
Ahri
nothing.
ult for the grubs, yeah.
And I think when the Trundle shows up, though, you kind of got to be like, well, oops, I made a mistake.
Well, now it's no Ahri ult, no Ahri flash, because he looked for a pick right there. Keine has to flash away, but unfortunately, there's really no objective to fight over immediately with that. That just means Keine will probably not have the flash for this next dragon that will be up in a minute's time.
Yeah, going to be looking towards that. DSG obviously started with the first dragon of the game, so we'll see if they can continue that dragon stacking. But the benefit for them is you get one early dragon, you can just continue playing through side lanes. You have Gwen plus Taliyah to really threaten Photon as the game goes later on. That makes it difficult for him. And again, Rahel's going to be scaling super well. There's not these kind of common pairings for the Lucian to keep Lucian safe or buff Lucian up. So I feel like if I'm DSG, I'm super happy with just nothing happening.
Yeah.
Like you just want to sit back and farm.
Ooh.
And Dignitas are the ones I think who are under a little bit more pressure to stack objectives and make plays.
Yeah, surprised that that seismic shove actually landed on Keine, but still just fine. But I echo the sentiment that Dignitas, based on the composition, the Lucian, the Ahri, when I look at things like the Jinx and the Gwen in that side lane, will scale more. So DSG, yes, they're behind slightly in gold, but the fact that they get 2 grubs, they get the dragon, they just need 1 more neutral objective to get the Feet of Monster slain, and then it's either towards that turret or first 3 kills, which Dignitas, that's their only lead right now, is 1 kill to their name in that regard. They're first here to the dragon. There's a control ward in the pit, and DSG do have the push bot side, so it looks like DSG will approach from the bottom half, but Tempered Fate lands, actually does not. Thrown out, dodged by eXyu, and that means no
land,
Bartle.
just not on
Yep, it lands straight on the water. I think there's a frog in there somewhere. Now it's Isles taken away from the fight. Picked off while Dignitas were trying to find an approach, but DSG pounce, and they will kill the Bard, take the dragon.
Yeah, that's tough for Isles. Whiffs on the ult, then gets picked off, dies, and that means that it is the dragon going over, and Castle now looking.
Needlework goes out, misses 2 of them, so Photon's able to get away. Next one on the wave, just to try and clear that out.
That could have been a potential opportunity there for a solo kill from Castle, but as soon as those first couple charges of the ulti miss, you're not looking for anything. And he knows he is weak-sided, could be caught.
Has flash available though, and should be just fine. But that means a wave's gonna go down. This could be a turret topside for Dignitas, although it's still 3 plates. It's 11 minutes into the game. These things have a lot of armor.
Yeah, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to get it here. Trundle obviously does a ton of damage, but they're already responding. 3 members are coming up towards this top side. Sheiden will get that, and we'll see, can he actually get out?
Crash on misses, Shattering Strike lands. eXyu can try and flag and drag over the wall.
Flash.
Hard chase onto Sheiden, no flash available. He's stuck in the pit. Subjugation onto eXyu. He's just going to start bopping him, and it's not enough damage. eXyu gets the kill.
Sheiden with a bit of an overstay there, greeting for that Gromp, tries to walk it out, but Huhi's able to slow him enough for eXyu to catch up, and no flash on Trundle means no way out of the Cataclysm. Rahel even gets an assist there, feeling pretty good about it, and he is close to cashing out that call. Gonna need 15 more CS, pushes in the wave, and can once again just continue to look to reset. DSG now, 2 dragons up, 1K up, scaling advantage. This is kind of the inverse of last game, where it's feeling like Dig are the ones that need to do something, but they're not really doing much, and you can start to feel the game slipping away from them a bit. Of course, it is a lot closer than last game was still, but you do feel like this next dragon kind of has to be an opportunity for Dig to find a good fight. And if they can find a really good fight there, then they are absolutely still in the game. But if you give over Soul Point without really contesting anything, I'm definitely getting nervous for your chances later on.
Couple of mispositioning plays. Every time Dignitas has looked for something outside of the one moment where eXyu just kind of threw his body at Keine, they have not found much. They got bullied away from the grubs. They missed the second dragon fight. Now Sheiden dying topside. Rough streak for Dig.
Yeah, and this deep ward down there actually spotted Huhi walking into the second brush. They had a ward in that third brush that I guess no one really noticed from DSG. So Huhi was sitting in that side brush for quite a long time. And Photon was playing far enough forward that Huhi stayed interested, but not far enough forward that he could actually get engaged on. So he wasted a lot of his time, and that also allowed them to overload the other side of the map because of that wasted time. And now they get this tower incredibly low.
Good move there from Dig. You know what I call that one, Azael? When you just like, you know the enemy support's there, or you know somebody's making a trap, and you're just like baiting them to stay. It's called a dangle. You're just dangling. You know, you're like a bait on the end of a, you know, fish,
not to be confused with a kangle.
Not a kangle. No, it's a different thing. A kangle is when you Pantheon ult onto the enemy Alistair.
An angle that only Kangas can see.
Yes.
Yes, a kangle.
Well, anybody can see it.
No.
You should avert your eyes.
No, no one can see it, just you.
All right, well.
It's a special talent.
It's my third eye.
A blessing and a curse, really.
Yeah, if everybody else just saw it, it would work. Public execution misses from Photon, but the needlework from Castle is stacking up. Conqueror, flash forward, Photon jumping away, and the snip step misses. Repudiation, Photon with the solo kill.
Man, that one has got to be a tilter for Castle. Nice flash to match the flash there coming through as Castle looked to flash in and finish him off. Photon, equal to the challenge, instantly flashes away, avoids that damage. Jinx ult, not going to get him. But Castle played that so well up to that point. It was a great sidestep on the public execution. He's been getting him every time on that.
Yeah.
Keep sidestepping it. It looked like he was going to have the solo, barely didn't have the damage, and then Photon gets away.
And now Isles might get caught here. Shattering Strike plus a crash down. Chain CC locked into position. Flashes, takes the portal away. Tomo's throwing out the coal, and Huhi's taking damage. But oh, I think Isles just saved Huhi's life for a few more moments. It will be a trade at the end of the day. Keine teleports into the play, but he wants directly out of there. Will not make it out. Rahel with the kill. DSG winning the scrap in the river.
Yeah, 3 for 1. They're going to be able to get that, and they should be able to grab the Herald off the back of it. Rahel gets involved and gets his first kill. He's now 1K up on the Jinx. The Cole has been cashed out. He grabs a kill. They're going to take another objective here, and they have the upgraded boots. DSG getting really close to their first ever series win as an organization. First one that they would have had. Of course, this is their first year in the LTA and in North American Tier 1. Have been fighting for that win.
Yep.
Did have a 3-game series all the way back in Split 1 against Dignitas where they lost out. But this really is the best position, the closest they have been to actually finally getting that win.
Toast, if you're watching, hold your breath, because you might just be able to pick this one up. Let's take another look at that replay.
Yeah, Isles was the initial engage. He throws down the ulti, but like you said, it kind of felt like it helped Huhi a bit. Allows the rest of the team for DSG to come in. Darkwings on the side, finishes off Isles, and then Keine, not quite enough damage to actually finish off Darkwings. Rahel grabs a kill. It's a nice fight there for DSG. Castle down towards that bottom side will stay safe. It's Dig, first ones to this dragon. The question is, do DSG respond? They've grabbed the first 2. I'd like to see them continue to play for this.
Yeah, that would be ideal for them. Again, they have the scaling comp, so I don't think it's like end of the world if they don't get it, but they have the gold lead. Said they're going to drop the Herald mid.
And maybe they're just a bit nervous about fighting without sums for Rahel, but
he's
they're
going to go for the drive-by. He's going for it. The Herald engage, trying to get into the pit for the 50-50, but instead just takes Sheiden out of the fight. He flashes away, but Huhi follows up with the Gravity Storm. DSG following the fight. Oh, beautiful stuff from the Rell. Just locking on to Sheiden, taking him out of the fight. DSG will get another dragon.
Yeah, they use the Herald just as the engage. eXyu just drives it right over. They focus down Sheiden. Huhi, as you called out, great engage. Now they're looking.
Yeah, they get the knock-up on the Keine, who I believe pops the Spirit Rush and will just get away to safety. DSG fighting so much on the map afterwards as well. A full wave bot side, they take the mid turret.
They're going to get bot as well, so this is really big for them. It's going to be about a 4,000 gold lead here, only 17 minutes in, and they're looking at, you know, a 22-ish minute soul if they can go for it. I was thinking maybe they're not even going to try to contest, but they say, you know what? We're just going to take the Herald. We're going to drive all the way down here. eXyu gets the knockup right as Castle comes in onto Sheiden. And look at this combo. Really well done. The flash out and then the re-engage from Huhi finds 3 members, locks them all down. eXyu hits him with the Cataclysm. Rahel is free-firing, and that fight is just absolutely crushed.
Yeah. Herald is OP, no?
Herald's OP, having a veteran support like Huhi, also OP. When you look at DSG, you look at how the roster was built, there's a lot of younger players here. Even Castle, Rahel, relatively early in their careers, similar to like eXyu. Darkwings, brand new, but Huhi is the veteran who's been around. Finding engages like that helps him out. Now bot side, we see a 1v1 Castle versus Keine. In a bit of trouble here as the Ahri Castle looks to chase him down. The Spirit Rush is still used. Needlework will land, but Keine gets to safety. Cannot be said the same for Isles. Portal's away. Actually, no, he does get out. Oh! Mega Death Rocket will pick it up. Rahel playing sniper right now. Now, actually, it looks like Photon doesn't want to stick around. No, Dignitas got to get out of there.
Yeah, Keine did a good job sidestepping. He didn't have the Spirit Rush. That's why Castle went for the all-in. And he delayed just enough time for that Spirit Rush to come back up. They knew that it had been spent earlier, so he wanted to try to punish on that window. Keine does a good job surviving. And your first instinct was the correct one. Isles not going to be so lucky. Doesn't get out. Even with that magical journey, it was a magical journey into a rocket, unfortunately.
It's one of those moments in the movie where like the bad guy thinks that they got away. Like they get through the door, they close it like, oh, and then they realize, oh wait, I'm in the room with all the Cobras. Like, uh-oh, that's rough. Pretty sure that was Indiana Jones or something.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Gonna default to trust on this one.
You've never seen those movies?
I have, but I don't remember all of them.
All right. Yeah,
those are some old movies.
Actually, I think I'm thinking of The Mummy, which is basically the spiritual successor to Indiana Jones, if you think about it.
I feel like that's insulting to Indiana Jones.
Wait, what? I like The Mummy more. Brendan Fraser.
Okay, there, buddy.
Let's go.
Let's calm down a bit here. I love cinema myself, you know. I'm more of a Mummy
Big fan
enthusiast.
of Cars 2.
Yeah, Cars 2.
Big fan of Cars 2.
Mummy, those are my top ones, yeah.
If I had to make a top 5 on IMDb, you know. Throw it on War of the Worlds on there. I still haven't seen it. I really want to watch it now.
The new one?
Yeah.
I unironically really want to watch it because it has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
How does a movie even get that? All right.
I've seen some clips. I know how.
Well, if you're watching a movie for DSG's series so far, what are you giving this rating right now? Maybe just in this game, actually. Game 3 versus Dig.
It's looking good, man. We're giving them 2 thumbs up. We're giving them 5 stars.
That's a fresh tomato right there.
That's fresh. Certified fresh. Game 3 so far for DSG. And they are going to be so happy if they do finally get that win. I mean, the amount of stress, the amount of kind of pressure I'm sure that they are feeling to try to perform on this stage. The relief should be massive, and they're going to be TPing in. It looks like they want to at least control vision around the Otacon here. We'll see if they're just going to straight up start it, because I think they're going to.
While we wait to see, just again to echo your point, imagine you're a DSG player, you've yet to win a series all year, you're on the precipice, 4K gold lead, 3 dragons to your name, you choose to start the Otacon. Dignitas will start to approach, but Otacon's already burning down here. If they can just keep Sheiden away from the pit, DSG can walk away with the objective. Shaiden's walking forward, has the pillar down, flash engage from eXyu! He's just taken out though! Dignitas accepts the gifted jungler of DSG, and now they can look at the Otacon. They have Smite on Sheiden, and Dignitas will just claim the objective. DSG, can they find a miracle? No! They just lose their jungler, and Dignitas will accept the gift.
eXyu, why? That was brutal, man. They had them completely zoned out. Sheiden has no flash.
Yeah.
He's never going to be able to walk through the Rell as well as the Taliyah.
Flash ult engage?
I mean, eXyu just lost his mind. To me, this is like completely nerves, right? He is just feeling so nervous, and he misses his flag and drag out. Oh God, that is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. You had the guaranteed Otacon. He flashes in ults and misses the flag and drag out.
He says, my bad. He knows it. I mean, in that moment.
There was no need to even go for it. It was theirs.
Well, okay.
If they lose this series, that is so brutal.
Recollect. You cannot let a moment like that get to you. If you're eXyu right now, give them your energy, DSG fans, because the game's still going. Dragon's up. This would be their sole fight, but it looks like Dignitas can get it. eXyu, do you look for the steal? No ult, no flash. It's a one-way trip in, and it's nowhere to go. Dragon over to Dignitas. They stop the stacking. It's still a gold lead to Disguise, but Dig have found purchase in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Disguised are still in a really good spot. They're still up 4K. They take the tier 2 top with Castle. They still have this really strong composition. Like, there's all these positives there, but definitely that was brutal from eXyu. That's a massive mistake, like huge, huge, huge outplay that gave Dig some purchase in this game, that gives Dig a bit of a chance here. You know, they do take away that Otacon, and now as a result are a little bit closer. It's going to be a tough position for Dig, but we'll see if eXyu can stay calm, because I do think there's unfortunately been something, I mean, maybe not this egregious, but it has been something that's happened from a number of times this split where, you know, I think he just gets antsy. He gets a little bit nervous. He feels like he needs to make a play, he needs to make something happen. he just doesn't feel comfortable in what I want to call like a dead ball state, right?
Yeah,
He feels like I need to force here. I need to be the one, can't let them engage on me. I got to engage on them.
I've heard Vulcan say like sometimes doing nothing is the best thing to do.
It's the best play.
And like in that instance, just keep hitting the Otacon, let Huhi zone off Sheiden. In a perfect world where Huhi is like ready and also flash ults, like maybe you find something with Jinx resets, but like the team wasn't ready. Like that was just a fast play.
Exactly, and I mean, you had already won the play by getting the Otacon first, and Trundle has no flash, he can't walk in, right? Like there's just no way you should be able to walk in through the Rell and through the Taliyah. I think you should be able to easily turn on him if he tries to force through that and then kill him. But when you go that far and then also fail on the exit, it's gonna be really, really rough. Well, but Dig here are going to be looking to play around Baron. They're trying to play for vision here. Everyone's grouped up. We might just have a fight.
Moments like that, deep breath, recover. Tempered Fate lands onto Rahel. Weaver's Wall will try and block the Jinx. Still hit by the Charm, but the Orbit Deception will not land, so still relatively healthy. Now eXyu goes for the engage, but they take the Bard Portal over the wall. Dignitas get out of there. We're just swapping ults to see if we can find anything that will land. Now the public execution from Photon actually goes in. The culling from Tomo is just going to be absorbed by the healthier members of DSG. And again, we're all just throwing out our ults. No one's going to fully commit for the fight, though.
It feels like Tomo does absolutely zero damage. Yeah. Like he's not getting buffed up at all. He's very far behind. Very, very far away from an IE. Of course, wouldn't expect him to have it just yet. Even Rahel, who was quite a bit ahead, does not have his, but Jinx is scaling way better. And it doesn't feel like they have any pressure. It doesn't feel like they've gotten a lot of value out of the Bard moving around either. So, there's kind of like less typical pairing. Definitely not paying dividends just yet. But of course, there is the opportunity. We saw them kind of go for what you would think they were going to go for with this draft, which is you throw the ulti onto the Jinx, you try to follow up. But the Taliyah ult was really well placed by Darkwings. I think that did make it very difficult for Dignitas to really pile in. So Keine hits the Charm, but nothing else is there, and no one can really finish off that Jinx. And you need all of the tools there. Like you need the Ambessa going in, you need everything to be able to actually get in on that Jinx and have a chance of killing him, because there's so much peel and counter engage.
And Darkwings has had a great comeback from that rough Malzahar game. It was an exciting pick, did not pay off, and just kind of was a non-factor. Game 2 was a smashing from Dignitas. But this time around, DSG have held the line, and Darkwings in particular is really bringing it back right now on the Taliyah pick. A much more meta one. 2-0-5. Great kill participation. And so far, great damage dealt on the champion, but it's going to be one more fight potentially here as Baron is up. Dignitas are looking to get into DSG's jungle, and they're engaging now onto Huhi. Sheiden throws out the pillar. Huhi able to crash down away. And now do we look to punish? There's the wall for separating Sheiden from the rest of the team. Keine jumps over that splash out of Darkwings. Sheiden still able to hold the line there. Man, all members of Dignitas coming to his rescue, getting Jungler out of there.
Yeah, and they do get the flash off of Darkwings as well as the ulti, so you're going to be feeling pretty happy about that.
He's all alone right now, but no, Castle is nearby.
Isles has no ult.
No ultimate on Isles. Has to flash himself now, so that means eXyu's going to go in for the engage. Gets away this time around. Now Huhi is ready for the follow-up. That's what it looks like when DSG are on the same page. They caught Isles. Not going to find much more, but still a 5v4 if they want to look for something on the map.
Yeah, it looks like they're not feeling super confident to go for anything more. eXyu is pretty low. They did spend the flash on eXyu to actually take down Isles after he flashed out. So that is missing. They are just going to look for a bit of a reset. So at the end of the day, it is just the one kill, which isn't bad, but I'm not sure if it's worth spending the jungler flash when you have a soul fight coming up in 30 seconds. Maybe he thought he was going to get a lot more, and you can kind of see it through that lens. But with hindsight being 2020 and us getting to see how everything panned out, it is at the end of the day spending your jungler's flash for a couple hundred gold on the enemy support, who is going to be back and ready to fight at this dragon. And this is where the rubber needs to meet the road for DSG. They are on Soul Point. If they can get this could put them across the finish line to getting that first series win.
Dragon's up in 5 seconds. Flashes on so few members, but key carries for Dignitas do have them. Looking at mid lane, looking at bot lane. Meanwhile, DSG is really Rahel and Castle that can try and make that work. Dignitas are going to have to get in there, but the Bard ult will buy a lot of time. DSG focused to the Dragon. Now the Weaver's Wall will prevent the approach, but there's a public execution. Darkwings is the focus. He's taken out early. Shut down over to Dignitas. Can they get into the pit now? Go for the Dragon. It's secured by eXyu, but can DSG get out? Tomo is just buying time. 1v2 in Castle and Huhi while the rest of DSG falls. Dignitas will win the fight. Disguised will get the Dragon.
They get the soul, and critically they killed off Sheiden. So So it means that there's really not much of a chance to take a Baron or anything off the back of that either for Dig. So even though DSG do lose the fight, it still ends up being pretty good for them. Let's see, though, because they are kind of cheating up towards that top side.
They're not committing. Sheiden going down means that they're not fully confident to go for it. Isles doesn't have the smite either, so it wouldn't be like a smite secure play.
I think it's way too risky, honestly.
Okay.
With no front line to actually go for it. Had Sheiden stayed alive, that could have been an absolute game changer because they could have gone for the Baron right after. Huhi in the area. Dignitas members cancel their recall.
Huhi, there's nobody else on the map. He's all alone right now. Will he get chased down? Shattering Strike will try and get him to safety, but no, the support for DSG right as they're on the precipice of a Baron setup falls.
Yeah, it does fall down, but again, still not confident to actually go for a Baron start.
Hey.
They have quite a bit of gold. They haven't based yet, so they want to go back and actually spend up all of that gold. Tomo should have his IE, which is going to be a pretty big buy, and we'll see if they can find something off the back of that. Items getting completed really across the board. We see, third item coming through in mid, in top, as well as in AD carry. So some big purchases there. Rahel spent his flash and died in that last fight, so he is still very far ahead, but there's the possibility to maybe catch him out and burst him down.
Yeah, and he has Ghost instead of Cleanse, so like one Charm, one Cosmic Binding, boom, suddenly Rahel is in a world of hurt
goes
right
the
there.
Dynamite, just like that.
Yep, and then Cosmic Binding instead, dodged by Rahel, is able to sidestep that one without burning the Ghost. Now Shaiden's running for it. They're still focusing everything onto the AD here, but they cannot quite get onto Rahel. eXyu's out to safety. Huhi's on the flank. Castle's now 1v4 over here. The rest of the team's trying to get up after the Weaver's wall bought space. Dignitas will back away.
Tomo doing a really good job on the side, though. Landed a culling that was hitting Rahel. eXyu steps in to try to block it, and then he gets chunked so low. Huhi may just
taking
die.
a lot of damage. Keine went for the engage, lands the charm, gets the kill. Photon answered. Rahel with the resets. Jinx is excited, so Dignitas gotta get away. And they will retreat. Trading their top laner for support was not what Dig wanted.
No, not at all. That Mountain Soul making a big difference in this case, and now it feels like Dig are going to be in a lot of trouble because DSG is starting the Baron here, and Sheiden has no flash. It's so hard for Trundle to enter from this side of the map.
Yeah, he's got to find a different way over the wall. Maybe the Bard portal can get you in there. Yeah, Isles does not have the smite, though, so it will just be a 50-50 with Sheiden. He can look for the chomp smite. Still hard to time. They have a ward in there. It should spot it. Now Sheiden has the portal to go through. Kane's going to try and get space. Shaiden's into the pit. Are they going to find the 50-50? Shaiden's looking for it. He gets it! Sheiden with the Baron steal. Double kill to Rahel. Disguise will get a couple of kills, but Sheiden keeps Dig in the game.
Yeah, eXyu got so incredibly low. Someone needed to tank the Baron for him or something. He had to leave the pit because he was just dying to the Baron, and he tries to run back in, but this whole time he's getting lower and lower and lower. Keine hits some damage over the wall. This charm into the Q gets him incredibly low, and then at this point, he was already quite low. Keine ults in, is able to, put that pressure on him, and look at eXyu at this point. They realize, okay, now you can just go in. Isles is throwing damage in over the wall. They're trying to help him burst back down. eXyu just can't get back in time. It's down before he gets in, and that is definitely a heartbreaker. Should not have been playing close to the wall, so that is definitely his fault, but also had been getting quite low.
It's okay, it's
I'm
okay.
gonna push. You can push top. Yeah.
I think.
Oh, and you can feel it in that moment as it seems to be weighing on him. The sigh afterwards, the team saying, don't worry, no worries, no worries. Just keep your head focused, keep yourself in the game because there's still more league to play. They still have Dragon Soul, they still have the Goldie, but Dignitas, man, they just keep finding ways back into this, Azael.
Yeah, they are, and a lot of those ways, unfortunately, are eXyu, as eXyu. I mean, he just can't be hugging the wall there. That's the only way they can actually get that damage down on you. You need to force them to put themselves at risk to get some damage down. Dig still in a tough spot, though. Again, their comp is tough to play. They're playing against Mountain Soul. DSG do hold the cards, but you're giving a lot of opportunities over.
Now Huhi goes for an engage here. Looks like Dignitas were actually getting caught out right there as the culling will come through for Tomo. Trying to get damage down, but his team's falling around him. DSG pounce on a spread apart Dignitas. Double kill to Rahel. Is this the moment that DSG needed? There's multiple kills picked up. They're going to be able to take down Tomo if they can get onto him. He has the flash available. Using the E to get away. Tomo to safety. If he can live, this could still be a base defense for Dignitas. DSG know how important this kill is, and they're chasing deep for him, but he's able to get to safety. There is a control word right there.
So.
Yeah, he has the Baron powered recall. He is out of there.
Yeah, going to be able to get out to safety, thankfully for him. But again, even with that Baron, even with some of the advantages, Dig struggling to actually find these fights. The Bard has just not been it at all.
No.
Isles has not been able to accomplish really anything in this game.
Which is tough. Last week it looked good versus C9. It's not looked as good here.
It's also, I think, really different situations,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's part of the difficulty is like they have no primary engage. It's kind of just him. He's throwing a lot of these ults from pretty far and not really being able to find them. And when you go for a fight like that and you give up your life early on, Jinx gets excited, and now all of a sudden you gotta run. Rahel is going to crush you in this fight. I mean, he is 7-1-7. He's 3.5k up. This is very nearly a full build Jinx.
Yeah.
I mean, so it is tough.
Coming from Down 1 Academy in 2020, he played on SK last year and now in North America. Rahel, incredible journey so far in his career, and he's showing why people are excited to see him on DSG.
Darkwings just had to use the ult just over the wall. He got nervous that they were going to engage on him, and he uses the ult very early, so they won't have that for the Elder fight. This is a good chance for Dignitas.
Okay, looks like another flash engage from eXyu. Last time did not go well, but this time around they're able to catch Sheiden. Dignitas' jungler is out. eXyu with the redemption engage. DSG can look at the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, they do get that kill, but Dignitas still hanging around.
Oh, they pull back onto Keine. He's got to flash away. Spear Rush has already been used. Yeah, I think they just have to walk away. They're already channeling their backs. They realize no jungler, no chance of a steal. DSG, this time, at the crucial objective, are able to pull it off.
Yeah, they find Sheiden. Great pick from DSG. Knock down Sheiden. They get the Elder. They have the soul. They have the Elder. They are pushing. And Dig does not have safe wave clear. They have really poor wave clear, which is going to make it so hard for them to just wait this out and try to avoid a fight, which is exactly what they want to do during this Elder.
So many fans week in and week out have come to the arena to cheer on Disguised. Week after week, they have yet to pick up a series win. Disguised are breaking the base of Dignitas. They're taking the fight at Dignitas' fountain, and Disguised will win their first ever LTA North Series.
Disguised has done it, finally getting a win. This version of the roster definitely looking stronger, looking more competitive. They picked up a game last week, and now they get their series. That is so big for Disguised. They've got to feel so good. And heartbreaking, obviously, for Dignitas on the other side. You know, they do drop this. It means they go 0-3 in the pick and play. So Disguised going to have the opportunity to actually pick their opponent in this next week, you know, for the best of fives. That is a big reward for them. And it gives them something to actually build on here.
And Disguised, again, I want to credit the nerves of them. That was a rough moment at the Otacon. Moments like that can break mental, and suddenly you're just out of the game. You're like, okay, we're rattled, we're shook. You got punched by a jab, and now you're seeing stars already at the beginning of the fight, but they were able to hold on, and that second flash engage from eXyu there, catching out Sheiden, able to take down Dig's jungler. Credit to the nerves of the players. We're walking with Darkwings. You see him on your stage right now on way to the interview. Loungers, take it away.